On any given street corner in Mexico, they say someone seems to always be trying to cheat the system. That if it looks like corruption and walks like corruption, somebody's probably croaking up a bribe to get something done. Government employee Jorge Morales says he's no longer surprised by all the suspicious transactions he sees carried out here on a daily basis.
El que no tranza, no avanza. O sea, aquí tranza en México es corrupción.
For example, when it has come to paying taxes in Mexico over the years, citizens and corporations here, according to the Mexican government, have neglected to pay billions of dollars in taxes by fraudulently underreporting their earnings on their tax forms. Tax forms seen in government photos of its tax accountants buried in fraudulent tax papers over the years. All these papers the old way of doing taxes, until the government changed the game. By becoming a paperless government, by having Mexicans file their taxes, for example, electronically through their computers. The end result? More Mexicans are filing taxes than ever before. Electronic filing said to be easier and more transparent, like when getting an X-ray, allowing tax agents to determine more quickly if taxpayers are reporting earnings accurately or not. As a result, tax collections have increased and Mexico's tax revenues have doubled in the last 5 years. All important tax revenues that pay for, among other things, many of Mexico's social and health programs. Mexico's tax collector is SAT, S-A-T, Servicio de Administración Tributaria, here in Mexico City. Inside SAT, the walls are adorned with the works of Mexican artists permitted to donate pieces of their art if they can't afford paying their taxes. Banners hang in the courtyard here reminding tax agents and other employees respect, commitment, responsibility, and honesty. This giant banner states the meta, or goal, which is collecting 2.96 billones de pesos in tax revenues, crossed out and increased to 3 billones, or about $170 billion in tax revenues, says SAT's number 2 in charge, Adrián Guarneros.
That's the tax revenue for the country. It's more than double that we had 5 years ago.
Mexico's paperless government, from electronically collecting income taxes to customs agents now electronically monitoring imports and exports, a tax revenue cash cow in Mexico, has scored high marks with the World Bank's Doing Business project. That World Bank Senior Private Sector Development Director, Charlotte Zhang, says makes Mexico one of the top economies in the world to do business in.
In fact, out of the 190 economies covered by the Doing Business project in the whole world, Mexico ranks at number 6, which is a tremendous improvement and achievement for Mexico.
Zhang says filing taxes electronically means less human contact in the process, which reduces corruption, she says. As seen in many Mexican films, often lampooning corruption in the country, how somebody's always trying to bribe some government official in person. But with electronic tax filing, everything is digitally submitted. Pay stubs and expense invoices into the computer. No more direct human interaction or paperwork that can be easily forged or changed.
According to research, corruptions are more likely to happen when you have more direct interactions between the taxpayer and the tax administration staff.
We have that conviction here in SAT. We have the conviction that technology gives us transparency, gives efficiency.
This government video shows how citizens sign up for its e-signature system. They take a photo or electronically fingerprinted and sign their electronic signature so that their identities are now in the system. The government hopes more of Mexico's 120 million citizens will sign up for e-signature to electronically pay their taxes in the future.
Right now we have above 10 million people using the e-signature.
So far, the reaction from Mexicans about paperless tax filings has been mixed, from some who are not even aware it exists yet.
Pago electrónico todavía no.
¿Por qué?
Porque no existe el sistema. Ahorita todavía existe el sistema de banco.
Pero hay sistema electrónico así de gobierno.
Sí.
¿No sabes eso?
No, no sabía yo.
Ah. To those who say electronic tax filing is more convenient.
Es más fácil.
Más rápido.
Más práctico.
To many taxpayers who believe paperless filing reduces opportunities for corruption and fraud.
Sí, es verdad.
Yo creo que sí, hay menos oportunidades.
Before being paperless, we had a lot of, for example, we had a lot of fraud. If you had invoices that were forged and you cannot see them so quickly as we do now, you would lose a lot of money.
The country no longer losing, but now earning billions more tax revenue dollars, says Adrian Guarneros, at a time when Mexico's all-important oil export revenues have plummeted, but increased tax revenues helping stabilize Mexico's economy.
Mexican is an oil economy, and we have been able to compensate the revenue that has been declining in the oil sector with tax income. And that's why Mexican economy, comparatively with other parts of the world, has been an increasing economy, a growth economy.
CCTV's electronic database of tax and finance information can also now be shared directly with banking and lending institutions to speed up the loan process for small or medium enterprises here known as SMEs. CCTV's database gives lenders a clearer assessment of assets and collateral of SMEs that they need for receiving credit or loans.
For example, in Mexico, there are a lot of SMEs. And for SMEs, they may not own building or land, so immovable property, but they own a lot of movable assets. For example, they own equipment, they own machinery, and they own receivables. All those movable assets has the potential of being used as a collateral for the SMEs to obtain loans from lenders. So with such an effort, Mexico ranks very well on one of the doing business areas called getting credit.
What we have done in Mexico is that every time you send an electronic invoice, you are sending it to your counterpart, but also to the tax authority. And that allows to have all the tax information, all the economic transactions in Mexico are revealed through this electronic invoice in real time.
Information transparent to most everyone that has helped streamline Mexico's government and economy. A paperless government many other countries have turned to as a model for modern technological ways of doing business.
Well, just a couple of days here was Egypt, a lot of countries of Latin America, Vietnam, Indonesia.
While Mexico still faces global criticism for corruption and for human rights issues like thousands of civilians being murdered or disappearing here every year, the country's tax authorities here at CCTV say there is much to be proud of when it comes to going paperless and transparent and trying to move the country in what they hope is a more accountable direction.
As an institution, we feel very proud. I will invite the world to see Mexican experience. I think Mexican experience can show you what we can do, what you can do, but also what you shouldn't do.